Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. Upper right hand corner, we got Dewalt starting as the pink Protoss. Bottom left hand corner, we got Bonyth starting as the gray Protoss. So a repeat of positions from last match. Dewalt currently up 2-1 in the second set of 7 here in Fighting Spirit Mania. Dewalt also up a set overall as far as the overall upper bracket score. So theoretically, I guess I should have been saying, I will make up for lost time. The entire time I should have been saying that previous commentating. I feel sheepish is what I will say. I made the mistake of saying, oh, Bonyth is the one who, and I should have been saying Dewalt is the one who's on the verge of taking a championship here if he just wins this best of 7 here. So he needs 3 more sets, which is, I don't know how many games. 21 games? Well, so 3, he's got to win 4, right? So he needs 28 total. And thus far he's got 1 set, so we -1, so he needs 3 more. So 3 times, I never do the math live. 3 times 4, 12. So he needs 12 games for 3 sets, -2, 10 more wins at minimum. So we have a minimum of at least 10 more games in Fighting Spirit Mania, if I did that math right. I don't think either player going for a double gate this time. I think Bonyth is certainly going to be on his toes, though, after that last Zealot, and that was honestly like, it didn't end up paying off for Dewalt. Mostly it was Bonyth kind of being thrown off and looking for, I wonder if he was like, man, Dewalt threw some cheeky stuff out. He's down a Zealot. He's kind of messing around here. Maybe he was going to go DT to follow up, and maybe that's why he wanted that fast second observer to try to deny a potential. But I think it was just a spasm, a moment loss in the build order from Bonyth, a small lapse of judgment. But Dewalt also with that Zealot sneak, which I haven't seen that before, and I'm wondering actually for all of the Protoss players that are tuning into this if they're going to copy that at some point, because that's kind of cute and clever. And while it didn't work as well against Bonyth, I could definitely see it working against other Protoss players. Cybernetic score warping in for both. Looks like the faster scout. So Bonyth went top left-hand corner, is going right. There's a little bit of a later scout here from Dewalt. And Dewalt went cross position and is going to get the immediate scout. It's funny, they say you want to, I've heard it said that you want to scout for the worst possibility first. And usually I feel like the worst possibility in this scenario when you're not worried about 2-gate would be like horizontal or vertical spawn. So I'm a little bit, but at the same time, I kind of like how Dewalt does mix up his scouting patterns quite a lot. You never know what's coming. Dragoon queued up for both players right this second. And that probe remains active. Unfortunately for Bonyth, he's going to be in the dark comparatively, which, especially at similar spawn points to the previous match, that was the other thing, is he filled in a Zealot there too, to make it look like there was no Zealot out in the field. So I'm wondering if Bonyth actually stopped and went and looked back. I wonder if he was shaken a little bit by that, like, how did he get that Zealot there? So I'm wondering if he actually went back on the replay and was like, hey, what's going on? This time, Dewalt also not chasing that probe, and Bonyth halting the probe chase a little bit. Maybe that's the other aspect, is Dewalt's like, you're chasing these probes a little far afield. So maybe let's punish you slightly for that. So probe's going to make its way back. This probe going to make its way back. Looks like we are going to see a Dragoon step out in the field just in case there was some sort of movement back around. Same thing, opposite direction here from Dewalt moving mid-map. Although the probe now going for an end around, making his way to the right. So wants to get the continuation scout towards the natural expansion. Dewalt hanging out in the center. Huh. Kind of interesting play. By the way, in the meantime, we do have range queued up on both ends, but it's going to be 1 gate robo and 1 gate into expand here for Dewalt. We'll see what the follow-up tech is for Dewalt. Now it's going to be very important for him to block, to stop this probe. So we'll see if Bonyth gets a look at the natural expansion or not. Trying to come from the opposite angle, sees the Dragoon right there, shifts around, and is not able to confirm the Nexus. So is it going to be one? It looks like it's going to be Nexus into 3-gate, and I've seen this be a very, very powerful build, and I think this ends up being basically, well, I think it ends up being kind of a decent counter to the robotic tech here, and potentially even the 2-gate. And we'll see if Dewalt does go for robotics as far as a follow-up underneath this. Doesn't probe taking a couple hits and is going to go ahead and exit. So it's going to be an economic lead for Dewalt, but a tech lead for Bonyth. And what that does open up the possibility for Bonyth is to get a Reaver out and start getting aggressive out in the field. Dewalt playing a little bit far afield, considering he opened Nexus first. I think he's playing far afield to make it seem like he might have more units than he does as well. Dropping a pylon to provide additional scout on top of everything else, because you don't really see the Dragoon differential until later, until it takes like, so you think about it, it takes about a minute for a gateway. It takes another period of time. I think that Nexus got spotted finally by Bonyth this time around. He's got the observatory out this time. Is he hanging? He's waiting again, actually. Well, I guess this is on the 2-gate build comparatively. So Bonyth effectively is down a bit of economy. He's down a bit of production with the gateway. And because he delayed, okay, now he's getting that robotic support bay. It should be able to fill in the time. So went observer to shuttle to Reaver, which is fine. Which is typical in this match. You still have the mobility and the Reaver out in comparison, but he's not going to be able to get that natural expansion up in comparative time to Dewalt here. Looks like Bonyth kind of hovering around. And Dewalt being very, very aggressive with the Dragoons, wanting to really give Bonyth food for thought. And he's full on attacking. This is an equalized army, I believe. Yeah, even army attacking at this. And he actually, so able to pick off his Zealot both directions, is now going to back off. But just shredding the unit count. And this is, I kind of like this idea actually from Dewalt, which is, okay, I'm going to go the 3-gate follow-up. If you did go for a tech differential, when I'm walking up with my Dragoons, either I'm going to see more Dragoons with your 3-gate, or we do this. We get an army reset both directions, at which point, because you didn't take a Nexus, I end up ahead anyway because I've got more workers, and I'm able to press the tech regardless. And so if you're going out with Reavers now, as far as a follow-up, you're going to have less Dragoon support. With my 3-gate, I'm going to be able to replenish my Dragoons pretty rapidly, and you're not going to feel as comfortable moving out now and getting aggressive, and it's going to be an even later natural expansion. This observer, by the way, I like Dewalt positioning these Dragoons forward as though he might have an observer. You can see Bonyth holding short, and now is going to make his way in. See the bad news. Not only is he going to see that Nexus, he's going to see how well saturated that Nexus is. And so Dewalt actually with really nice press play, and is once again going to end up, I think he did above and beyond to put himself in a winning position here. And Bonyth, is he going to drop the Nexus? He's got the 400 resources to potentially do it. I think he might want to instead, he's still got that probe held there. I think he might instead just want to get aggressive with the Reavers he's got, maybe even Citadel of Adunit, drop some additional gateways, play from there. But Dewalt, in the meantime, he'll have a Reaver and a shuttle of his own. He's going to have 4 gateways worth of Dragoons. And if you look at the raw supply count, Dewalt is down army in comparison. He's got another probe making his way out to C position. So how bad will that be though? So we get 8 Dragoons versus actually more Dragoons on this side of the field versus 10. But these 2 Reavers are going to be alongside. And so that's got to be the focal point. Reaver's getting a lot of damage on that southern edge, but eating a big shot from that Reaver. Both Reavers taken out in the midst of that. And Dewalt looks like he lost the upper engagement. A nice pocketed shot right there. So 4 Dragoons survive as far as what's left, but and he might be able to kill some workers here. I think I didn't see the full birth of the Dragoon fight right there. But still, this isn't enough for Bonyth to win it, unless he takes down this Nexus, and which he might be able to, honestly. The Reaver's slow walking it. These troops really bunched up, now trying to hunt that Reaver. Oh, this is going to get close. Another Scarab not launched, but now the Dragoon's starting to come out of those 4 gateways. They got to come in groups, though, so they can get the concentrated focus fire. That will be enough to defend this. That should be an easy resaturation. And the Nexus being built, so a little bit of ground gained there from Bonyth, but honestly, nowhere near sufficient. The one advantage he does have is he will have the informational advantage from this point on, which is where these pylons will provide a little bit of support. Ooh, more Dragoons making their way out, by the way. So this observer is going to be able to see the positioning over this corner for quite a period of time. A few Zealots actually filling in to try to keep those Dragoons honest. Another gateway dropped as well, but it's going to be a long time before an observer is able to be fielded here. Another shuttle with another Reaver out in the field, and Dewalt moving out again to engage at midfield is going to donate a Dragoon as a result, is allowing the Zealots to create basically a little bit more panic here. The shuttle has been wiped out. I don't know that this is going to be an advantage fight for him, taking out another Dragoon, but buying himself time. So he's like, I'm up in production, so let me field these troops forward and just buy myself a timing window, keeping that Reaver down and picking off that shuttle. All the difference. Now he's got this Reaver in the forward field, a bit exposed. Can he get a second shot off? So 2 Dragoons left. Loses that Reaver, but is still in an okay position because now Bonyth has to sit back. These are some great tactical decisions from Dewalt, honestly. Now he's got to wait for that shuttle to make it all the way across before he can really think about an additional engagement. He's still behind in the overall production spike, and Dewalt doing it again, moving out, and this time gonna snipe that Reaver before it has shuttle coverage underneath. 3 versus 2 at the closer reinforcement point. Also, he's got that dude out underneath. There are reinforcements making their way out for Bonyth to try to equalize things, and this is where that misfire can just be really annoying. That might have saved a Dragoon overall, and Dewalt fielding right back out, and this is gonna send Bonyth, should send Bonyth in retreat at the closer reinforcement point. Dewalt now, I think even in supply, on top of everything else, a Reaver scooped up somewhere. I think that Reaver might have been crawling, and Dewalt continuing to move aggressively out in the field. He needs to be careful with this because right now going to run into Bonyth's army. Shuttle speed upgraded, trying to make its way around. And with, yeah, I think this might be a dead Dragoon army out for nothing here. And maybe it's not going to be an open economic window here for Bonyth, but maybe a situation where he could get some workers and make a little bit of headway. Another Dragoon getting picked off. We got another batch though, and 2 Reavers here on the low ground. These 2 Reavers are going to be very, very exposed in the space of this. So that shuttle making its way across, the observer finally there, it's getting picked off, but Bonyth, because he's just had to continually engage Dewalt across the field. Oh, is he going to get the shot? Okay, 1 shot on the Reavers. The Reavers need to spread a little bit. The Dragoon's forced to walk forward into this and engage this fight. Are they going to get the shuttle opposite side? So the shuttle still stands. It's got a sliver of health left. Second Reaver down. So we got 5 Dragoons, 4 Dragoons now on the front. And the Zealots also creating a lot of havoc in the space of this. So those Zealots really making it all the harder for Bonyth to get some purchase. And Dewalt continues to macro in the space of this. It still is continuing to build workers. Finally has a shuttle out and will be able to build some Reavers in the space of this. Also is able to sneak an observer out in that space. So now Bonyth doesn't have eyes as far as what's going on at the natural expansion. Now Bonyth the one sending troops out in a risky scenario at a smaller troop count. What's Bonyth done in the meantime? So he's up to 4 gate. He's tacking on a 5th gate. Is continually trying to get that Reaver out. He does have a Reaver defensively at that natural expansion. Dewalt can take a 4th base, and he knows that and is going for it immediately. As soon as I said that sentence, he already had a probe in position and already had the probe building that nexus. So he's going to turn that economic, is just going to continue with that economic advantage. And Dewalt is playing phenomenally right here. Not just aggressively, but just playing on the razor's edge and maintaining advantage after advantage in these fights. It is honestly a little bit next level. This is some really solid PvP we're seeing here. 6 gate now in the base for Bonyth to match Dewalt's gateway count potentially, but he's still behind on workers. A single worker wandering out to try to discover whether that 3 o'clock base is up or not. The Dragoon's not going to be able to stop it. Dewalt, by the way, getting the Scarab damage upgrade in the space of this. The cannon will... Oh, the cannon doesn't dispatch the probe. The probe lives. To look at the natural expansion. I missed this. Dewalt in the space of that still managed to get a Reaver drop with a single Reaver at the natural expansion. And so while all those probe shenanigans were happening and I was distracted, got a Reaver shot. I'm not sure how many probe kills he got. He got 5. 5 worker kills in the midst of this and 3 more. Yeah, Bonyth is now all in. He's attacking with everything he's got. Dewalt moving into it to meet him. So it's kind of a scattershot fight on both directions. I think Bonyth still might have a little bit more at the close position. The Reaver joining the fight from that natural expansion. But Bonyth going to call GG because even if he wins this battle, which it looks like he wasn't going to just because of the raw troops on the ground, he wouldn't have enough continuation troops to break through and touch any of Dewalt's holdings. So Dewalt, again, with an incredible, really an incredible match there, is now going up 3-1 in the second set. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.